57 last week, and that game was well within range of going over, and it ended abruptly 31-24, and you go home with a loss on that. So, yeah, it's frustrating. The points come quick. They come early, and then all of a sudden the game just goes to that graveyard where they die, and total no good. So I wasn't involved in that one last night. But, stupid as I am, I'm involved in the Tampa Bay Philadelphia over, and I'm victimized by the 40-second clock. I'm going to petition the NFL to change it to a 35-second clock, which would force Tampa to kick the field goal to send the game over the total. But the 40-second clock basically makes the last 2 minutes of a game. If you have no timeouts left, the other team has the ball. It's irrelevant. You lose. I don't even know why they lined it up. So that was that. Tough break for people who had over. Good move for people who had under in the NFL game. And as a fan of the LA Dodgers since I was a little kid, my father was a Brooklyn Dodgers fan, raised me that way. I'm happy that they got the call to end the game. But I will say this, Justin Turner probably fields that ground ball and makes the play 99 times out of 100, and he picked last night in the ninth inning to boot a ground ball right in his glove. So if he makes the play, the umpire never has to realize if he can sleep at night, Prez.
Yeah, Rob Veno joining us, everybody. And guys on YouTube, we are up. We are streaming. I want to give you a quick summary of what you missed. Firstly, I blame Teddy for my NHL start to the season for absolutely no reason whatsoever, but it was clearly his fault. He FaceTimed me. I answered, and everything went wrong right after that. Then I asked Teddy, do you think that umpire slept well last night? And Teddy said, yeah, he's fine. He's not even worried about it. Teddy's totally wrong. Manishtana, as they say in my tribe. For you guys who know what that means, you'll understand. And then Rob Veno came on. Oh, Teddy did mention, don't bet Service Academy totals. And Teddy, that was an important message. So I did want to get that out there. I had the under last night in that Memphis Navy game. Total miracle win. Rob lamented his over on the SMU Navy game the week before. Now we're all up to date. We got Rob Veno on the show. Andy Lang, Tony Mejia. Let's start with you, Rob. UAB, Southern Mississippi. How are we betting this game?
We are going to take the double-digit favorite. There's an old tag assigned to teams like UAB. It's called a bully. When they're double-digit favorites, they come through and pummel lesser opposition. For UAB, under Bill Clark, they're 22-9-2 against the spread as conference favorites. 71% wins under Bill Clark. But if you expand that out, guys, to double-digit favorites inside their conference, they're 11-4-1, 73% as double-digit conference favorites, which is the role they sit in this game against Southern Miss. You'll remember a couple of weeks ago, I came on Southern Miss Rice, tried to play it over 44. Game landed 43. The freshman quarterback that they had landed on, Ty Keys, gets hurt in the first quarter of that game. Ever since that day, it's been walk-on true freshman Jake Lang at quarterback. To absolutely add to UAB's success as a double-digit favorite, we'll look at Southern Miss's 1-5 ATS record so far this year. 0-2 as a double-digit dog. 3 of the 5 games they've played, guys, have been lined at either +1 or +2, which suggests very, very similar competition. And they lost those games by 24, 13, and 5. They're not playing similar competition here. Offense is bad, 252 yards a game. The only game they went for more than 258 total offense in FBS action, one game they played was against FCS, was against Rice. And we all know how horrid Rice's defense is. Southern Miss, that's the only game they averaged over 4 yards per play. 4 yards per play is a bad offense. They're bad matchups here. Probably can't run the ball. They can't run the ball anyway. They're not going to run it against these guys. And University of Southern Mississippi, they've allowed 28 sacks already. Expect UAB to get after them with pressure once they can't run. UAB, 9 turnovers forced in the last 3 weeks. That could be an issue. There's chatter out of the UAB locker room this week about a revenge motive from 2 years ago when they came here and got beat 37-2. A lot of the players on that team are on this team. They want to make amends for that. generally speaking, guys, you wouldn't want an offense. I could correlate UAB to San Diego State. You don't like to lay double digits with a team that doesn't have a great offense. But UAB's point spread mark just shows that even in games that are totaled low, where they're a heavy favorite, they come through with an ATS victory. I think they do it here. Their backup quarterback, Dylan Hopkins, has been just fine. As I mentioned, Jake Lang, the walk-on, still learning Will Hall's system. Probably dominate both lines of scrimmage here. Give me UAB to win this one by 17 plus. I'll lay the 16.
So I'm certainly not going to talk you out of this one, Rob. But I do want to ask about, you talk about the history of the Blazers and what they've done in recent years under Bill Clark. What about this year's team? Is this year's team the type of team that's going to go on the road and win by 3 scores? Because that's the only concern I would have for the Blazers side in this one. I know I want no part of Southern Miss right now and probably moving forward.
Yeah, and in last week's game was a pretty good indication of this team ascending, Teddy, because Florida Atlantic had been on a pretty good roll as far as Conference USA talent is concerned, and they absolutely destroyed FAU last week by double digits. So I think they're in a good position right now. Listening to Bill Clark, he described it as momentum and good momentum for his team heading into the
game with NBA starting next week, and we do have a few NBA future bets up $9. Rob, Texas A&M and Missouri. Steve Merrill came on and spoke about this. Obviously, a fascinating game, especially with A&M winning last week. -9 here, -8.5. A small amount of money coming in on A&M, but nothing substantial. How are you betting this game?
Well, power ratings showed it to be, at least power ratings that I keep, show it to be A&M -11. That's under normal circumstances, raw talent versus raw talent, A&M -11. So perhaps Missouri, a team that's already 0-6 against the spread this year, maybe they continue to be overvalued by bookmakers. We'll see right here. But of course, the number one thing people will talk about here, Prez, especially if they want to bet Missouri, is A&M's got to have a letdown. You just beat Alabama, you have to let down. And I can't blanket statement things that easily. There's a lot of letdown situations on the card this week. In this one in particular, my opinion in these types of matchups is if all you have to do is hand the ball off to run up 40 points, then I don't know where letdown comes into play. You'd have to tell me that the defense is not going to perform. They'll be the ones to let down because Zach Calzada, all they have to do, this is a major step down in class. Rush defense. Alabama, one of the best. They really couldn't get it going last week. Calzada surprisingly won it with his arm. But against this team, 130th out of 130 FBS teams in rush defense are the Missouri Tigers. A-Chain and Spiller, turn around, hand it off. We saw Tennessee do it. We saw Boston College do it. We saw Kentucky do it. We saw North Texas even go for 188 rushing yards last week on Missouri. So I think for Texas A&M, the game plan is simple, and I don't know that letdown comes into play there. I happen to think the reverse, guys. I would say that this is somewhat of a rebirth, another shot at life for A&M, a team that came in with huge expectations this year, didn't really meet them, lost 2 divisional games already, but beats Alabama and can now close strong. If they had lost to Alabama last week, that locker room would be probably lost, and the potential bowl game at best probably would have been the AutoZone Liberty Bowl or something like that. Now they've got a chance to run the table here against lesser competition. Zach Calzada last week, for what it's worth, he'd been miserable all season long as quarterback for A&M. 21 of 31 for 285 against Bama, 3 touchdowns, 1 INT. Got some big play, guys. I mean, Aniyah Smith, Jalen Weidemeyer, we all know about the tight end. The running backs caught the ball out of the backfield. Mizzou, in 2 SEC games this year, Kentucky and Tennessee outgained 1,202 to 794. That's going to be my combatant to anybody who says to me, but Rob, Texas A&M has been outgained in their last 3 games. That's bound to come up, but I would say the way Missouri gets outgained is absolutely crazy. And A&M's competition the last 3 weeks has been pretty strong, to say the least. The 3 teams that they faced. Missouri has 17 sacks on the year. How about only 4 of them are against Tennessee Kentucky or Boston College, the three best teams that they played. So they piled up a lot of stats against bad teams. They haven't gained 400 yards against any of those teams total offense yet. They didn't do it against BC, didn't do it against Tennessee, didn't do it against Kentucky. I think it's just a mismatch at the line of scrimmage, guys. I'm laying 8.5 to a team that's allowing 46 a game to BC, Tennessee, and Kentucky. One more time, hand the ball off, let A-Chain and Spiller do their thing. Stop the run on the other side. Missouri's a good offense, but they're just not in this class this year. And I don't think the defensive problems go away with a bye week. I'll take A&M. I'll lay the points. I'll be anti-letdown.
Robert Veno. Rob, outstanding work like always. We love having you on this show. Guys, if you like Rob Veno's breakdowns, we got a promo for you, RV10. That's for Rob Veno. RV10, $10 off his Saturday college football package. It's up now. $10 off the Saturday football package, RV10. Robert, get out of here. Teddy, something real quick to say, and then we got your big game breakdown. Tony Mejia, Andy Lang, the daily presidential address. So much still left to go. Dude, one of our listeners comes in and what's his name? I don't know. Who cares? Tobias Kid. He's not happy that we don't discuss the games that are happening tonight on today's show. How do you feel about that? Like, I think we do a pretty good balancing job. I mean, we're looking at the Oregon game tonight. We're looking at the baseball game tonight, both coming up a little later. I'm going to be looking at hockey tonight. I feel like we do a nice job balancing that situation. Any thoughts from your end?
I'm with you. I mean, look, throughout the course of football season is different from the rest of the year because football season, the majority of the games get played on the weekends. So throughout the course of the week, we're going to take a look at a bunch of games being played over the weekend. But we make an effort to give you something actionable on every show. And of course, as we move into basketball season, which we're doing, and hockey season, as we're doing right now, there's more actionable stuff for any given day. So I appreciate the comment. I appreciate the concern. And we'll do our best to continue giving actionable stuff. But it's not all about the Friday night games. It's about the games throughout the course of the week.
Yeah, and also it's about the games that we can find value on. I mean, the handicappers, the experts that come on the show, pick the games they want to talk about because they find value and information on those games. Tobias Kid, he writes, they didn't talk about none of the games yesterday. Tobias, brother, thanks for joining us. We love you. We really appreciate it, but you need the word any instead of none. Grammar is super important as you get older in life. So get that right, brother. It is, they didn't talk about any of the games yesterday, not none of the games yesterday. We'll take a quick break. Teddy's big game breakdown. Tony Mejia, Andy Lang, daily presidential address. This show has just begun.
Wow, but in October of sports with the NHL now underway and the NBA tipping off next Tuesday, we want to help you celebrate the opening week, both on the ice and the hardwood. Every NHL daily package is only $9 through Monday, October 18th. And yes, that includes 5% NHL plays, regularly priced at $35. For you NBA fans, we'll be offering the same incredible deal next week when basketball returns. From opening night through Monday, October 25th, get every NBA package for only $9, including all 5% top plays. Plus, don't forget that WagerTalk TV will again be airing both Puck Time and the NBA Tip-Off Show every Monday through Friday.
It is time for today's big game breakdown, and let's take a look at some Sunday NFL action. This is a game that's attracted a fair bit of betting attention in the markets this week. That is the undefeated Arizona Cardinals heading to Cleveland to take on the Browns. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen right now, I'm seeing Cleveland has been bet up to 3.5 just about everywhere now. The total sitting at 49.5 on a day that's supposed to be fairly windy by the lake in Cleveland. So 2 things happened last week that were fairly unique. First, the Cleveland Browns became the first team in NFL history, the history of the NFL, to lose a game where they scored 40 or more points, gained 500 or more yards on offense, and had 0 turnovers. They scored 40. They had 500 plus yards. They didn't turn the ball over. They played a perfect offensive game, and they lost. First time in NFL history. That, to me, is a red flag. Arizona did something last week they hadn't done in the Kyler Murray era, and that's win a game but scoring less than 24 points. In fact, they won a game when scoring only 17. That's the first time they were able to do that in the Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler Murray era. So when we look at those 2 facts, all right, here's Arizona that, oh, by the way, all of a sudden they're good enough to win games with their defense now. And the confidence boost that comes with that. Boy, you look at some of the quotes in that locker room, that's a confident team right now. You look at the Cleveland side of the equation and you go, man, doesn't matter how many points they score. They can't stop anybody. And I understand the injury report for both these 2 teams is dicey. 2 huge absences for Arizona when you talk about the starting center and Chandler Jones. You know, it's enormous. Rodney Hudson and Chandler Jones not likely to play this week. I get you. And that's what moved this line up to 3.5. But look at the Browns. All right. Cluster injury in the offensive line. Conklin and Wills haven't been able to practice this week. All right. That comes on the heels of injuries to Chris Hubbard and Nick Harris earlier, both guys out. The injury in the secondary, MJ Stewart, Denzel Ward, Greedy Williams, Greg Newsome, all hurt. Davion Clowney banged up. As his counterpart on the other side, Myles Garrett. Both guys missed practice this week. The running backs are banged up. Everyone's talking about Arizona's run defense and how bad it is, and I'm not buying that, by the way. But Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb both hurt. The center, J.C. Tretter's hurt. The tight end, David Njoku, was huge last week. He's hurt. Clowney's backup at defensive end, Tack McKinley, is hurt. Not a healthy Browns team. And when you're scoring 40 points and not turning the ball over and losing, you're not a team I want to lay points with. Give me Arizona plus the 3.5 in Cleveland on Sunday. And there's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Brett.
Teddy covers. Man, there's been so many line moves in the NFL. Green Bay, there's a 6 on tap. Anyway, speaking of the NFL, let's bring in our number 1 NFL expert this season. A ridiculous start to the year, up close to 40% ROI on his money in only 5 weeks. I'd say that was Bitcoin-like, but it really isn't, Andy, because Bitcoin's done that in the last hour. Speaking of Bitcoin and Ethereum, anybody suggest people buy that and then it doubled? Oh, me, it was me. I told you all to buy Ethereum and Bitcoin, and it has doubled. So I appreciate the no thanks that anyone has given me. Andy Lang, what's up, bro?
Yes, Prez, you were the only one that discovered this very hidden market of Bitcoin and Ethereum. The only guy that this hidden little gem of cryptocurrency. Prez is the only one sneaking up on everybody. Old frisky there, Prez.
Oh, shut up, Andy. How about Max Verstappen? 6 points up on Lewis Hamilton. I told you guys to bet that as well, although it's not over yet. But a hedge opportunity is a coming.
Good stuff.
Dude, let's go. Let's go, man. Latavius Murray, what do you got for us?
Well, real quick, just I believe as you guys were recording, the Cardinals just traded for Zach Ertz. Teddy, you just did the big game breakdown. No, he's not playing, but I really like that addition to that team moving forward. That's a good one now that Max Williams is going to be out for the year. So good trade. They didn't give anything up for him. All right, let's talk Latavius Murray. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and take us over 42.5 yards rushing. Sometimes you just have to go out on a limb and say, I got a good feeling about this. And this is one of these times because I just don't have a lot of evidence to show that Murray is ready for an over bet. He's gone under this total in 4 out of 5 games. He only has double-digit carries in 2 games. But here's why I'm going to play it. In the game against Denver, when the Ravens were ahead, he got 18 carries for 59 yards. Against the Colts, the game script got way out of control, so he only had 6 carries. That was to be expected. This week, they get the worst rush defense in the league in the Chargers, who give up 157.6 yards a game on the ground. So we know Lamar Jackson is probably going to get his yards. Latavius Murray should be the lead running back. This is a game that has all the makings of a shootout. They don't seem to trust Tyson Williams to get carries. Devontae Freeman is being used more in the passing game. So if the Ravens want to exploit the Chargers' rush defense, which they should, Lamar Jackson is going to be involved, and Latavius Murray has to be involved. The Chargers have played 5 games, and they've allowed 7 people to rush for over 42.5 yards. It's a little bit of the roll of the dice, but I think we're getting a low number on a really bad rush defense. If I'm the Ravens, I'm going to give the ball to Latavius Murray. I think he gets over 42.5 yards here.
So let's talk about the Washington football team. And last year, there was a real consistent pattern for Washington. They would fall behind to play these terrible first halves and then rally in the second half and make things interesting. Well, this year they've fallen behind and they haven't been able to rally in the second half. But you think this week there's a good matchup for first half points for the football team? Talk to me about Ron Rivera's squad.
This is one of my favorite plays of the week. I debated whether or not to give out one of my favorite plays, but I love this one. Over 10.5 first half points. Washington is actually the 12th best first half scoring team in the NFL. They averaged 12.6 points per first half this season. They scored 13 against New Orleans in the first half and 14 against Buffalo in the first half. Those are the number 3 and the number 4 first half scoring defenses. And who do they get this week? The worst first half defense in the league. They give up 18 points per first half, Kansas City does, and we can get this over 10.5 first half points at plus money. Expect a lot of points. This is your worst and second worst first half points allowed defenses. Expect a lot of points early in this game. I love Washington to get to 2 scores, 2 touchdowns to get over this total of plus money.
Andy Lang joining us on WagerTalk Today. You can also hear Andy on the NFL Presidential Address. And I'm just going to tell you what Andy's thinking. He's thinking, man, if you haven't watched the NFL Presidential Address, what is wrong with you? That guy who hosts the show, 60 wins, 37 losses across the board in 5 weeks. I mean, 60 wins, 37 losses. He is 10-4 in his best bets, 3-1. Oh wait, I'm talking about me, dude. I'm sorry. I got completely lost in my brilliance. Dude, you got a great promo up for everybody. Rest of the year 2021 for only $549. You guys get to save $387. No coupon code required. And Andy is kicking it in everything. So make sure to take advantage of that. It includes his 5% best bets. Andy, he'll go out for dinner with you if you're close by his house. It includes the works. We're rolling it out, man. Andy, Dak Prescott, what do you got for us?
I like his under 23.5 completions. The Cowboys have really embraced that they are a running team and an elite one at that. It's been working. The wins have been coming in, solid performances. I don't see why they would get away from it this week against New England. The Patriots have given up 555 yards rushing this season, but they've played the Texans, the Bucks, the Jets, and the Dolphins. That's the 32nd, 30th, 28th, and 26th ranked rush offenses. The one good rush offense they played is the Saints, and they rushed 38 times for 142 yards. So I'm looking at the Cowboys, and Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard have to be licking their chops. They're averaging 5.3 yards a carry. And their last 4 games, which are all wins, they've rushed the ball more times than they've passed. So Prescott has gone under this 23.5 completions total in all 4 of those games. I see another heavy rushing attack from Dallas in a game. They may not need to throw the ball a whole lot. And if they get a lead early and they're very good in scoring points in the first quarter, I don't expect to see a lot of passing. I'm going to take Dak under his completions here. Another Dallas win, and that's going to make 5 in a row under pass completion prop wins for Dak Prescott.
So when we think about how Belichick is likely to defend this defense, one would think he's going to try to take away the deep ball. He wants to take away the big play, which means that there's going to be a lot of checkdowns. There are going to be dump-off passes. Would you be interested in Dak yardage under just as much, or do you think it just comes down to completions here, even knowing that the New England game plan is going to be to force Dallas into the short completion?
I'm not sure New England has the personnel to do that. Belichick have the personnel. I'm not sure that they can do it. And yeah, I could see some checkdowns, but why check the ball down when you can turn around and hand it to Zeke, when you can hand it to Pollard and run time off the clock? I'm actually not really sure what the Patriots would want to take away. If I'm Belichick, I would want to take away the running game. I just don't think they can do it. And if CeeDee Lamb or Mari Cooper gets open for a long pass, which they can do, I just don't expect it. I just see New England playing from behind, Dallas playing from a lead, and I'm just going to lean on the running game to dominate and Prescott to take it easy, especially with some of the injuries that he's had.
Andy Lang, everyone. Andy, thanks for joining us, man. We love having you on. Your prop bets are gold, #1 handicapper in NFL this season. Dude, we will see you next Friday. Get out of here. Guys, I just want to shout out a couple of our listeners and users. We've got, what's this, Brendan G. First time he's been able to listen to the show live. Brendan, thanks for showing up, brother. Greatly appreciated. And G-Ram Birchall, appreciate your kind words as well. And, of course, all the regular crew. We love having you guys with us. It's a real pleasure. Guys, take 2 minutes. Hit that like button, please. Hit that bell if you want to know when our shows are coming up. And subscribe to our channel. Teddy, Tony Mejia. I got to tell you a quick story about Tony. Tony's coming on today, and we always ask these guys, send the games you want to talk about in. And if you have any streaks or promotions, send that in as well, and we'll talk about it. So here's what Tony sent in. Promo stuff for me. MLB 50, 15 and 6, 71% plus 30.22 ROI, 23 and 8, 1 on 4% plays, 55.92 ROI, 12 and 3 surge on 4% run line plays. This is the beginning of a paragraph this long that I'm supposed to do what with Tony? Like read it slowly? Should we make it the entire show of just reading all your streaks? You didn't even hit enter. Like everything just, oh my God, dude. Like, oh my God. Okay. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I mean, you didn't even hit enter. Like it just runs on forever. Why don't you pick a few and just tell us?
Is that he has streaks to promote.
Oh, yeah.
That's the good news.
Oh, yeah.
Prez, I mean, I'm just trying to cut and paste from my streaks on my homepage so I can move on to something else. We're going to talk college football. We're talking NFL. We're talking baseball. I've got NBA on my plate. I'm writing stuff for our wonderful new Gold Sheet News section.
Yeah,
so
man.
it was just, but my fault because it was, I'm sorry to hurt your eyeballs on that. It was a lot, but it was just a matter of cut and paste, and here you go. So my fault. Dude,
I looked at that and I was like, what the hell do you want me to do with this damn thing? Anyway, outstanding stuff. And I'm so happy that you're rolling in 700 different things right now. And yeah, outstanding work at the Gold Sheet. Tony, let's go, man. Cal, Oregon, you got a thought on the total in this game. Fill us in.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to go with the under, despite the fact that Kayvon Thibodeau, the probable #1 pick in next year's NFL draft, is going to miss this first half due to targeting. So he's out, but he'll be in the mix for the second half. And this is Oregon coming off that devastating loss to Stanford in overtime in a game they had no business losing, because I believe their win probability was something like 99% as they were trying to close out the clock, and then they blew it. And that cost them their undefeated season. We'll see if there's a hangover there. But, it's Cal that they're going up against. Cal, they just lost to Washington State 21-6. Bill Musgrave is their offensive coordinator. He has been at a million stops in the NFL and really hasn't succeeded much. It's a team that lost tight games to TCU and Nevada. And if their offense was much better, they wouldn't be 1-4. Oregon just lost their running back, CJ Verdell, to a leg injury suffered against the Cardinal. They've got a competent #1 back in Travis Dye, but the other two guys, freshman Trey Benson and true freshman Brian Cardwell, have combined for 9 career carries. And yet Cristobal says that they'll be incorporated in the lineup. So I think there's just a lot of moving parts for both offenses to succeed. Anthony Brown, the Ducks quarterback, is mobile and decent, but he really doesn't light it up. Did light up Ohio State, but that's beside the point. We moved on to this month, and the Ducks, I think, win this game. It's a 2-touchdown spread, but I like the total more than the side.
Yeah, I came on yesterday and made a case for the under as well with my big game breakdown for Cal Oregon. So I'm certainly not going to talk you out of it. But my question is Garbers, all right? His 2 road games this year at Washington, at TCU, both times he's thrown for more than 300 yards, and both times the Cal offense has moved the football. Do we worry about Garbers here and that Bears passing game, or is he really, not a QB that we're going to stress out about, especially with the total in this range and the pass rush he's going to be facing for most of the game tonight?
You said it, Teddy. Not a quarterback that I'm worried about, especially since if he was a little more efficient, like I said, the Cal Bears would be in a much better spot. So he's a bottom 6 Pac-12 quarterback. The other thing that we see is that Tim DeRuyter, the Oregon defensive coordinator, obviously the former head coach at Cal, he's had this game circled on his calendar. He knows what to do against Garbers. I just think points will be hard to come by for Cal, and once Thibodeau gets in there, the pass rush will intensify. So if they're down, I don't expect to see much from the Cal offense.
Tony Mejia joining us, talking about points will be down. I was doing research before the show. I had to pick my games for the daily presidential address. One of them, which we'll hear about, is the under in the Colts-Texans game. And then you come on and you're like, I like that under too. I think the Texans, even though they lost last week, probably blew their offensive load. So I'm with you, Tony. Tell us why we should bet the under.
Yeah, I mean, look, Davis Mills becomes the first rookie in NFL history to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns and to finish with a passer rating of over 140. But he benefited from a flea flicker, and that fluke jump touchdown pass to Chris Moore should have been picked off. It was ridiculous. He might as well have thrown it blindfolded. And they will not have Tyrod Taylor this week again, so it's the Davis Mills show one more time, even though their head coach said as soon as Taylor's ready, it's his job because he gives them the best chance to win. Another issue for the Texans is that Laramie Tunsil, their star left tackle, out for a month due to thumb surgery. So that'll hurt. And this is a team that went the final 28 minutes of that Patriots game scoreless. And in the first 2 starts with Mills at the helm, I believe they scored something like 9 points. So throw in Indianapolis, who, while they gotten the running game going with Jonathan Taylor, really doesn't have much in terms of receivers. Carson Wentz did a nice job in terms of being decisive on Monday night. But again, when the going got tough down the stretch, he couldn't execute. So 2 teams, I think the Colts are rightfully favored. Kind of surprised to see them as a double-digit favorite, but that was the case going into Monday night. So clearly their performance there didn't throw bettors off of them. So even on a short week, Colts double-digit favorite. I think they'll get the win. Definitely don't think much of the Texans, and great minds think alike, I guess. So I like the under 2.
Tony Mejia, of course, has a $9 NBA futures package up. You can get down before the lines move. Get Tony's NBA future selection, only $9 over at WagerTalk.com. There's one baseball game tonight, Tony, and we got to break it down. Red Sox and the Astros. Looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen as we speak, I'm seeing a little bit of money trickling in for Houston, but really it's still minus 135, minus 140 for the Astros. Total was bet up from the opener of 8 at some books, 8.5 at other books. The markets have decided 8.5 is the right total for this one. What are we going to do with Boston-Houston, Game 1, ALCS tonight?
Well, here's the deal. If you believe that Chris Sale is going to swing this series for Boston, then you're obviously on Boston for the series as well. If you don't think that he is going to make that substantial difference coming off of a game where he lasted just 1 inning in his backyard, because he's a Clearwater boy, that's maybe 10 miles from Tampa, and the Rays lit him up, then you're going in right now on the series price for the Houston Astros, because it's basically the same as tonight's price in the 140, 145 range. And Jose Altuve, who's going to get the party started for Houston, 8 for 24 career against Sale. That's 333. And he's hit a home run. Correa's got a home run off him. Yuri Gurriel is 3 for 8 lifetime against him. Might even lean towards the over, because there are some Red Sox players, even with a small sample size, that have a decent number set up against Framber Valdez, the Houston starter. But again, Sale is 5-1 on the season. The Red Sox are 8-2 in his starts. but they bailed him out offensively in his last start. And I think Houston at home is probably the way to go. I certainly like them for the series.
Tony Mejia joining us, everybody. And guys, make sure to take advantage of Tony's $9 NBA future bet as well. Dude is on a run in so many things, I can't even read it. It's like a full-on Roots book of streaks. So, Tony, congratulations. Thanks for joining us, brother. What do you got to promote?
Yeah, that futures package is going to be loaded with MVP and Rookie of the Year futures. We've got some win totals, some division winners, and I believe WagerTalk is going to have the first week of the NBA season, which opens on Tuesday, all available for $9. So we'll have some games in there. Once this preseason closes up and we get definitive lineups and whatnot. The NBA preseason is the one sport that I don't bet in the preseason whatsoever, just because rotations and whatnot don't matter. So the Lakers are 0-5. That doesn't matter. And neither is the success that some teams have had. But yep, the lights come on next week and you can get everything for $9. Highly recommend that. We'll have baseball packages up and obviously the football for the weekend. So yep, come visit me, wt.buzz/TM.
Teddy covers before we get into the daily presidential address. Yes or no? 0-20 Jags, 1-20 on Monday.
Yeah, we did that. We did a big game breakdown on that show earlier in the week. We talked about how we like Jacksonville plus 3.5 at the time. Are they going to win the game? They're live.
Yeah. I like them on the money line too. There you go. One of our listeners asked. I wanted to answer. Guys, it's time. Let's go. Daily presidential address. Welcome to the daily presidential address. I'm Lawrence Presman. If you guys are watching this on Twitter, you gotta watch WagerTalk Today. Outstanding show. Are you kidding me? Rob Veno, Andy Lang, Tony Mejia, a whole ton of Teddy covers, and a little bit of me. Check that show out, WagerTalk TV, our YouTube channel. I do want to shout out to all the people who are playing my NHL right now. Did not have the best start to the season. It happens. But don't worry. I am a very confident man, and we will right this ship pronto. Also, check out the NFL Daily Presidential Address. It's up now at WagerTalk TV. Teddy, 4 plays for everybody today. I am betting these plays. The first one I gave out yesterday, I just want to remind everybody, Kansas City Chiefs. I think they go into Washington, they get it done. I do like the over in that game as well, but I prefer the Chiefs. Tony Mejia came on and gave out Houston and Indianapolis under the total. I am 100% aligned with him. I like the Houston's team total under, and I like in the whole game to go under. I also like Dallas and New England to go under as well, and that's 50.5. And I like the New Jersey Devils tonight in the NHL. Shout out to Money Chattel. He came on to the NFL presidential address and said, hey, Prez, what about the New York Giants team total under 20? And I said, great find, Money Chattel, 100%. I like that play, and I'm going to bet that too. Guys, have an incredible, amazing weekend. Make sure to take advantage of my college football run right now. Won 7 of my last 8 cards. I won again last night. Teddy, pastrami sandwich with extra mustard today, baby. Take us home.
I'm trying. I'll just wait for you to stop talking, and then I'll be happy to take us home. That's going to wrap it for this week on WagerTalk Today. We'll be back again on Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, noon for you back east. Between now and then, enjoy the games. Have a great weekend. Good luck.
Wow, but in October of sports with the NHL now underway and the NBA tipping off next Tuesday, We want to help you celebrate the opening week, both on the ice and the hardwood. Every NHL daily package is only $9 through Monday, October 18th. And yes, that includes 5% NHL plays, regularly priced at $35. For you NBA fans, we'll be offering the same incredible deal next week when basketball returns. From opening night through Monday, October 25th, get every NBA package for only $9, including all 5% top plays. Plus, don't forget that WagerTalk TV will again be airing both Puck Time and the NBA Tip-Off Show every Monday through Friday.